Testing. I think I am live. Okay, I hope it's working. All right, there we go. I was having some technical issues. I was struggling just to sort of get everything connected the right way. But I'm here now. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tanita, and I am an ESL coach. I have been sort of teaching online now for 6 years, I think it's been, and I thought I would do a live lesson today. And the topic for today is idioms to describe people, specifically around personalities. Okay. What's also really nice about the lesson today is that there will be a prize for anybody who participates in the exercise. So my goal in general is I help students or English learners learn English the right way, smarter, not harder. And I show you how to do this even if you don't have a teacher. And I'm all for actively getting involved. So it's great if you're here watching this video, learning these idioms. But for me, it's more important that we can take what you learned today and put it into some kind of practice. So towards the end of the video, there is a little exercise that you can complete. If you complete the exercise and you put it in the comments, there will be a winner for a prize for my vocabulary templates. So I've created 9 vocabulary templates, which are really colorful and visual and designed in a way to feel like a game, which shows to be really effective when it comes to building vocabulary. So this is just one tool that you can use to improve your English or help you reach fluency and learn smarter rather than harder. Okay, so that's basically who I am. If you want to learn about learning strategies, how to study, how to unlock your mind when it comes to learning English so that you don't waste time, you know what to focus on, you have goals that are effective, that's what I'm all about. Okay. So I don't want to take up too much more time. I do want to get started with our live. If you have any questions, you're welcome to just put it in the chat and I'll answer them as we go. So I'm going to share my screen. I've got a little presentation where we'll get to see all these wonderful idioms to describe people. Even if you don't watch live right now, you'll have 1 week to complete the activity. And then I will announce the winner, which will be randomly selected. Okay, the winner is not determined by me. Anybody who participates will be put into a little online generator, and that will pick the winner for the templates. Okay, so let's take a look. Idioms to describe people. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm just going to double check that you can see it, that it is showing. All right, there we go. So I should be somewhere here at the top, I'm hoping. And I just want to make sure that it is showing on YouTube the right way. Okay, if you've just joined, before we get started, welcome. My name is Tanita, and we are gonna learn some idioms to describe people. Okay, so we've got 15 idioms. We have an activity that we'll do at the end as well, and a prize for everybody who participates. Okay, so I can see that everything seems to be working in order, so let's get started. All right, remember, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Okay, awesome. All right, so going into our idioms to describe people, let's start with number 1, an early bird. Now, I did start with some of the more common and easier ones. So an early bird, as we can see, a person who wakes up early in the morning and functions well at this time. So that's the important part here. It's somebody who wakes up early in the morning and is positive and happy about it. They can actually function. They're not grumpy. Okay, that's really important for this idiom. It can also mean, it has a second meaning which isn't often spoken about, and it means a person who usually arrives early to places and events. So things like parties or movies or any get-togethers with friends. If that person always arrives early, we could call them an early bird, meaning they're always there first and early before the time of the meeting. So I included some example sentences. I am an early bird. I wake up at 5 a.m. most mornings and I love it. Now this is actually true for me. I don't wake up at 5. I wake up at about 10 past 5 or 20 past 5 in the mornings, and I love it. I'm very much an early bird. Let me know in the comments if you're an early bird as well. And another example for the second meaning, Greg is an early bird. He always arrives early to these meetings. Okay, so we can see Greg likes to arrive early to everything. So we would say that he is an early bird. All right, so like I say, just let me know in the comments, are you an early bird? Is this how you might describe yourself? I wonder. All right, okay, so let's go to our next idiom because, we don't have to sort of waste any time. Let's continue to the next one, which is the opposite of an early bird, a night owl. Okay. So a night owl is a person who stays up late and functions well at this time. So it's kind of the opposite. This is somebody who can stay awake till 12, 1, 2 in the morning and they function well and they love it. And this is when they have a lot of energy. So for example, when my sister was young, she used to be a night owl, but now she goes to bed early. All right, so are you a night owl? Do you know anyone who's a night owl? I wonder. Okay, so we have an early bird and a night owl. I do see I made a little bit of a spelling mistake here. It's not an night owl. All right, I duplicated the page and I obviously just missed that. I'm normally good when it comes to these details, but I did create this only a day ago because I only decided to do this maybe 2 days ago. And between all my classes, I had to put this together quite quickly. And I think I missed that one. Sorry. So are you a night owl? Let me know if you're the opposite of an early bird. All right, let's go to the next one. A happy camper. I really like this one. So a happy camper is a person who is always in good spirits. They are positive and happy. So we can see the little picture. She's got a little smiley face, okay? Happy campers are those people who are just always in a good mood. All right, we normally would call them happy campers. So some examples. I love people who are happy campers. They make any bad situation better. All right, isn't that so true? And my dad was not a happy camper when he saw the mess the dog made. Okay, so maybe he just came home, the dog had chewed up some shoes or something like that, and there was just mess everywhere. If you have any dogs, you probably know what I'm talking about. So we could also use it in the negative, to not be a happy camper. So we can be a happy camper, but also not, for example. Most of these we use in the affirmative and the negative as well. All right. Okay, so a happy camper, someone who is always happy, in good spirits. All right. Let's move on to our next one, a tough cookie. As you can see, the girl, she's got her boxing gloves on. So a tough cookie is a person who is not easily discouraged or intimidated. Okay, this is somebody who, if they are on a path to something, they have a goal, it's very difficult to sort of stop them from working on their goal or achieving their goal because they're a tough cookie. All right. And it's also not easy to scare these people or to try and make them do something they don't want to do. All right. Then you could say a tough cookie. So example, she is a sweet and kind person, but I will also mention she is a tough cookie. She does lots of intense fitness races and no problem can stop her. So for this example, I just included the intense fitness races to show that she can put her body through a lot of things and not give up, because you need a lot of physical, mental strength to do some of these races, like obstacle course racing. And you really do have to be quite strong and tough to train for these kinds of races and then to perform them. So I just wanted to sort of give that kind of example to showcase, what makes her tough, that she can mentally and physically put her body through that. And anytime she has a problem, it just doesn't stop her. She just keeps going. All right, so a tough cookie. Let me know if this is a new one for you. Have you ever heard of a tough cookie? Do you know this idiom? I wonder. Okay. All right. So going back into our next one. Sorry, I'm just periodically checking in to make sure everything's working on YouTube. This is my first time doing a live through Zoom on YouTube. So I'm just making sure everything's working. Okay, let's go to the next one. A smart cookie. All right, so cookie can be used in two ways, a tough cookie and a smart cookie. So a smart cookie, as it says, a person who is smart or intelligent. Okay, you obviously don't need to use these idioms. You could just say like, he's really smart, he's really intelligent. All right, you could just use those words. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to make your language a little more colorful, if you want to be a bit more creative, maybe you are writing or learning creative writing, knowing some of these idioms can add a little variety into your language. Okay, so as an example, I know Mark looks a little goofy, but he's actually one smart cookie. Okay, so when somebody looks goofy, they might look a little unorganized or maybe even clumsy. And sometimes when we see people who are clumsy or unorganized, we think that they might not be the smartest people. It is a stereotype, of course. But yeah, this is just for the purposes of this example. He looks a little goofy, a little clumsy, but he's actually one smart cookie. He's a very intelligent person. Okay. So we have a tough cookie and a smart cookie. Now, just to mention, cookie, all right, is another word for a biscuit. Now, in American English, they will call them cookies. They're like, how do I describe it without using the word biscuit or cookie? It's a dough-like food or snack that gets baked and like a saltine, for example, or a cracker. And then you get cookies for American English, and we say biscuits in British English. So I say biscuit normally because I come from South Africa and we are much closer to British English. Okay. Next one. A bookworm. Maybe you've heard of this one. A bookworm, as you can see, a person who loves to read. So if you really like to read books, okay, we would call you a bookworm. Now, I will say it doesn't matter if you like the physical book, even if you like reading books on Kindle or something like that, this one would still apply to you. It doesn't only apply to people who read paper books. Okay, if you like reading, you can be a bookworm. So example, I never used to like reading books, but recently I seem to have become a bookworm. Okay, so never used to like reading, but now does and is a bookworm. I personally love reading books. When I was younger, I read all the time. I still love it. It's just now, as an adult, with my teaching and then building a business on the side, Instagram and creating digital products, doing all of these things, I just don't have that much time to read anymore. I know I can make time. If something's really important to you, you definitely will make time, and that's something that I am doing at the moment. I'm starting to introduce reading back into my schedule, and I love it. Okay, so bookworm. All right, so person who loves to read. So the next one is a green thumb. Somebody who has a green thumb is a person who is good with plants and gardening. All right, so if you know somebody who's really good in the garden and their plants are always beautiful and alive, hopefully not dead, then you could say they have a green thumb. So your garden is so beautiful, I didn't know your husband had a green thumb. Okay, I personally have a much better green thumb than my husband. He's not so good with the plants, and I love having my plants. In this room, I have 1, 2, 3. I only have 3 in this room at the moment because I've rearranged, but I have a good amount of plants inside my house right now. I have a bit of a green thumb. I'm quite good at it. When we had a vegetable garden, my husband did a lot of work in the vegetable garden, and yeah, he was quite good at that as well. All right, so if you're good with plants and gardening, anything like that, you're really good at keeping them alive, remembering to actually give them water, because plants do need water to live, then you could say that you have a green thumb. So the next one we have is a big mouth. This one also has 2 different meanings. Now, the second meaning, I would say, is the one that we more commonly use, but we can use it in the first way as well. There are other idioms that we might use for number 1, things like a chatterbox, for example. So for somebody who likes to talk too much, we might just say a chatterbox. But we could also say a big mouth. So number 1, a person who talks too much. And number 2, a person who tells secret information to others. All right, so if you know somebody that if you tell them a secret and they're going to go tell a whole lot of other people, even though they promised not to, right? Don't we all hate that? We could say they have a big mouth. All right, they just don't know when to not say something. For them, maybe it's just so nice to have the secret and share it with everyone. I don't know. So examples, I wouldn't tell Murat your plans to leave the company. He has a big mouth, so maybe you're worried that he's going to tell your boss, and that's a little bit awkward. And the second one, I am often described as someone who has a big mouth because I love to talk to people. I'm not a big mouth. Yes, sometimes I can talk a lot, but I'm not a big mouth. I wouldn't say that's my main personality trait. All right, and then I've included little visuals throughout the slides for each idiom, just so that you can get a good idea and visual representation of these idioms, because I think visuals are always good and they can be quite helpful as well. Okay, next one, a fruitcake. This is probably a new one for you. A fruitcake is pretty much a person who is a little weird, odd, or quirky. So weird, odd, and quirky are all synonyms of each other. So these people, maybe they wear clothes that's a little unique and different and maybe not normal. Or maybe they have little personality traits or things that they do that make them a little odd. I will say that just because someone is a little different to everyone else doesn't actually make them weird or odd. I think it just makes it something that we're not used to. And yeah, you know, we need to be more accepting of the different types of people out there. I might say in some ways I'm a little bit weird because of my philosophy of life. It can be a little different. The way that I think of life and people and what's really important is very different to what we learn growing up and what society tells us. So yeah, some examples of fruitcake and how we can use it. I can be a bit of a fruitcake sometimes. So if you know that you're a little odd or quirky, you might even describe yourself as a bit of a fruitcake. Another example, my aunt is a fruitcake. So if she says something strange, that's normal. Okay, maybe we all have that one aunt who's a little odd, who's a little bit of a fruitcake and says strange things or does strange things. Okay, so fruitcakes, maybe and hopefully a new idiom for you today. All right, the next one is a good egg. All right, a good egg. I know it seems weird, like what have eggs got to do with it? I do not know the origin or history of this, but a good egg is a person who is good. Okay, so if you know someone who's just a good person, who's helpful and nice and kind and compassionate, just an all-round good person, we could say that they are a good egg. So she's such a good egg, he will be lucky to marry her. Okay, when you find a good egg, hold on to them. They are rare people to find. Okay, so when you find somebody who's good, don't let go. There are not many of them out there. So we can just say that they are a good egg. We also are going to look at the opposite of that, a rotten egg, which is the exact opposite, a person who is bad. So if you know somebody who's just not nice, who's always mean, who bullies people maybe, who just doesn't do the right thing most of the time, we can call them a rotten egg, right? Rotten eggs, nobody really likes them. They're very smelly. You don't really want to deal with them. So it kind of makes sense if you can visualize. A rotten egg means it's gone bad, it smells bad, you want nothing to do with it, so it's a bad person. So some examples. Some people are just rotten eggs. That's life. You have to learn to deal with them. Okay? I don't want my children to become rotten eggs, meaning we don't want them to be bad people or grow up to be bad people. We'd like them to be a good egg, not a rotten egg. All right, so there's another two sort of opposites of each other, a good egg and a rotten egg for a good person and a bad person. I struggle to find an image here. It's very hard to find a picture of somebody who's bad because I mean, I could show a picture of bad behaviors. Maybe a criminal would have been a good one. But you don't have to be a criminal to be a rotten egg. So I didn't want to assume or make it seem like you have to be a criminal to be a rotten egg. You could just know someone who's just a normal person, but they're just not good people. And we would call them a rotten egg. Okay, next is a party animal. I know my dancing is fantastic. So a party animal is a person who loves to party all the time. Okay, somebody who really likes to go out and dance and party. They don't have to drink, but maybe they will. All right, we call them a party animal. So between my sister and me, she was always a party animal. This is true to this day. I'm not a party animal. I don't really like to go to the club and dance. I prefer to have my friends come over, play some board games, maybe have a barbecue. That's more my style. And he is such a party animal that he sneaks out to go to the club. Naughty, naughty. All right, so maybe he really likes to go to parties all the time, that he actually sneaks out of the house so nobody can catch him. Maybe he would get in trouble for it, but he loves it so much that he has to sneak out to go to the club. My sister used to do this when she was a teenager. I remember very well. All right, so we have a party animal. We only have a few more to go. Then we'll have a look at our exercise. And, you know, if you do the exercise and complete it, you can win a prize. Okay, so the next one is an eager beaver. All right, so an eager beaver is a person who's always excited about things. And it can be anything. They can just always be excited about events. Maybe they're always excited about seeing people or just everything in general. We can call them an eager beaver. So let's look at the examples. Stop being such an eager beaver. The show will start soon. Relax. So maybe you've gone to go watch a show and this person's been really excited about it and they just can't relax. They're just waiting for it to start. That can be a bit annoying for other people. So they might say something like, stop being such an eager beaver. Just relax now. It will start soon. And Hannes was always an eager beaver when it came to working. He loved his job. So we can be an eager beaver even for things like the work that we do. All right, so if you're always excited about a certain thing or all things in general, you might describe that person as an eager beaver. All right. For me personally, I'm generally not like this, but there are certain situations where I might be a bit of an eager beaver, where I might be a bit overly excited about something. All right, next is copycats. I love this little picture. They're wearing their suits, they've got their computers and their glasses. It's very cute. So what is a copycat? It's a person who always copies or imitates another person. So if you know someone who's always trying to copy your style, maybe they try to copy your work, the way that you do things, how you speak, it could be anything. The way they make food, what they eat, anything at all. And maybe they order the same coffee as you. They might be a copycat. Maybe they just like that coffee too, or tea. But maybe it could also be that they're a copycat. They're trying to imitate you because they want to be more like you, or that's a quality that they like about you. So when she was younger, she used to be a copycat. She always tried to dress the same way as her older sister. So here we can see we've got a copycat, someone who always tried to dress the same way as the sister. Okay. So you can see in this picture, you can obviously see you've got mom and son. They're wearing the same clothes. They've got glasses. They're doing the same action. They're imitating each other. So that's a good way of seeing or knowing what a copycat is. All right. We only have a few more to go. I actually think this could be the last one. Two-faced. So two-faced, as you can see, she looks sort of one way on the one half of her body and another way on the other half. So on the one side, it's very messy and undone. And then on the other side, she's got makeup and her hair is all nice. So two-faced, it means a person who says nice things to you, but the opposite to other people. These are people who are normally not sincere. They're not genuine or real in what they're saying sometimes. So they say one thing, but deep down inside, they don't believe what they're saying. Their opinion is quite different to the words that come out of their mouths. So an example, my old boss was so two-faced, she would thank me for all my hard work and then steal my ideas and take credit for them. So here we've got a boss who to this person is very nice and very thankful and appreciative of the hard work, but maybe to her manager or her boss would go and steal these ideas or take credit. So they're a little two-faced. Their words and their actions don't match. It doesn't have to only be words and actions. It could be words and words. So what you say to this person and the same thing to another person is different. All right, so not quite the same as gossip, but gossip can sometimes be like that, where somebody will say this thing, and then they gossip something different to someone else because that's who they are. All right, so to be two-faced means to kind of have two sides to you. The one that you show one side to certain people and a different side to other people regarding the same situation or information. Two-faced. All right. Okay, and that was the last one. So let's have a look at our exercise. Okay, so remember, if you complete the exercise, you have 1 week to do it. So there's lots of time to do it. If you complete the exercise, you can win my vocabulary templates, which I will get a little bit more into after explaining the exercise and how to win. So let's look at what you need to do. As I said, I believe in actively engaging with what we learned today, not just watching the video. I mean, that's great, but I actually want you to take what we've learned today and use it in some way. So this little exercise is going to do that. So the first part of your exercise, there are 2 parts here. Number 1, can you think of someone you know who is a smart cookie or a happy camper? These are just examples. You can choose any idiom. Share a personal story or example in the comments section below using any 2 of the idioms covered today. Any 2. So it doesn't have to be smart cookie or happy camper. You can choose any idiom and just share a story or tell me who that person is. Okay, so it can be 1 sentence long. It doesn't have to be a whole essay. So for example, my sister is a party animal. She used to sneak out of the house when we were teenagers. Okay, that's a good enough example. You're showing how to use that idiom in a real example. So that's also really important if you're learning something new, like an idiom or word or a phrase, is making sure the example is actually real and relevant to you. If you try create an example that has no connection to you, you're less likely to remember it in the future. Remembering these words and chunks of information, the more connected to us that it is in our stories and our real lives, the more you will remember and be able to recall those words and phrases and idioms. Okay, so I always like to make it a little more personal because that's how you make a connection. We want to make connections that allow us to recall them in the future when we need them in conversation. All right, the second part of the activity, number 2, if you could choose one of these idioms to describe yourself, which one would it be and why? Write it in the comments. So both of these you have to write in the comments to win. So as we can see, how to win, complete the whole exercise, meaning 1 and 2, and share your answer in the comments section of the video. Okay? So in the comments section, put in your answers, somebody that you know, and give an example, and choose one of these idioms for yourself. Okay, and tell me why. So you can't just be like, I'm an early bird. I'm an early bird. I get up at 4 in the morning and love to do exercise and drink coffee. Okay. Or I am a happy camper. It doesn't matter what situation I'm in, I'm always positive. Okay. I want to know why you would say that you are that thing. Okay. So you can either give an example or just share a little more information that supports it. Okay. Your exercise must be submitted no later than exactly 1 week after the video was released. So today is the 4th of March. It's a Saturday. So that means next Saturday at about 2 p.m. All right. I don't know what the date is next Saturday. What's the date? I'm going to quickly check on my phone. Sorry. The 11th. So that means by 2 p.m. South African time, the 11th of March, this needs to be completed. If you submit it after that time, your name won't be put in the draw for the prize. So please you've got a whole week to complete the exercise. So if you want to win, do the exercise. And the prize is a free copy of my vocabulary templates digital product. Now these are currently $13 for the 9 different templates, and you can get these for free. Let me tell you a little bit more about these. So here you can see some examples. So we've got 9 vocabulary templates. There is a digital and a printable copy. So one copy you can print if you want to handwrite it, because for some learners, it's better to handwrite. It's also been shown to be more effective than typing on a computer. But if you are like me, who wants to save the environment and not waste unnecessarily, there are digital copies so that you can fill and complete everything on your computer. You don't have to print them to use them, okay? There are fun activities and games to learn and review words. So there's a section for learning, which is really good for the initial study of new words, and another section which is really good for the review of words. Some of them are like games, some of them are like word of the week or Pictionary. There are different types of activities. There's mind maps, Freya models, there's quite a few. There's 9 of them to choose from. So you can also find which ones you like the most and then use those kinds of templates. Of course, using a variety of templates is always going to be better, because when we do the same thing over and over again, the learning becomes less effective. We need to challenge ourselves and sometimes change things completely to really be effective in our learning. So that's why there are 9 templates. It would take a very long time for your body and your brain to get bored of these, or to get accustomed to these, especially if you're switching them out and doing different ones. All right, there is a colorful and visual, which is shown to improve memory and retention. A lot of studies show that color and visuals, we process visual information a lot better than maybe auditory only or written information. So I've tried to make these nice and colorful and a little more visual. There's images that you can add to make it more memorable for you, to help with that memory and recall. So if you really want to win these templates, complete the exercise. You've got a week. So then that's pretty much our idioms to describe people. I do want to show some other ways that maybe you can get some help. I do have a freebie which you can download. I will include a link in the description. It's called Master English with Habits. So I am all about habits and how we can build habits to support our learning. So this little freebie is going to show you exactly how to use habits to master English, to really start seeing a change. It's completely free. If you would like a copy of this document, there are also some very cool free English resources included in this document. I'll include a link below where you can subscribe and then download. You'll get the free download in your emails. All right. And one last thing, I have the Get Unstuck Challenge, which starts in 2 days. It starts on the 6th of March. It's completely free. It's a free 5-day challenge to help you get clarity and to help you focus on one area of your English to get unstuck. So if you're currently stuck, you're not seeing progress, you're frustrated, you don't even know why you're learning this language anymore, this challenge will help you get unstuck. So on every day, we sort of discuss another topic. There's a video that you will get in your inbox, and there will be a little action or activity that you need to do. These activities will take no more than 20 minutes of your time. I say 30 minutes to be safe, but I think 10 to 15 minutes is probably how long these activities will take. So it doesn't take a lot of time, and it really helps you to get unstuck and start seeing progress in your English. It's completely free. I will include a link below. And there's also a Facebook community where you can join us all and participate together, find some partners, some study buddies, whatever you want to do. There is a community during this challenge as well. That starts on the 6th of March. So check it out, have a look, see if you're interested, and join. There's still some time before we get started. All right. So that's it. That is our lesson for today. We had a look at 15 different idioms that we use to describe people, specifically around personalities. If you want to win the prize, you just need to complete the exercise in the next week. Once the time or the deadline is finished, I will do a random draw of everybody who completed the activity, and they will win this prize. All right. But then that's it for our live today. It was lovely to all have you here. I hope you at least learn one new phrase today. If you can remember just one of these idioms, then we have success. All right, then we've won. Okay. So if you're interested in the freebie and learning about habits or the Get Unstuck challenge, I will include it in the description below. So join. And if you have any questions, leave me a question in the comments and I will be sure to respond to them as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed this lovely little lesson and I'll let you know when the next one will be. I'm thinking of doing maybe one every month. And every time there will be an exercise to complete and a prize that you can win. It could be my vocabulary templates. It could be a one-on-one session with me that you can use to create your study plan or figure out what you're doing in your English, whatever it may be. It would be up to your choice. So different prizes. All right. I'm also launching my Learn to Learn workshop, Learn How to Learn workshop at the end of March. So there might even be a free ticket for that as well, for that workshop, which is all about learning how to learn the right way. All right, because often when you're at school, your teachers tell you and they guide you, but you don't know why you do these activities. And as adults, we often forget a lot of these strategies that get used. So learning how to learn is giving you everything you need to learn English on your own. So if you can't get a teacher, you can't afford it, and you want to know how to learn the right way, you don't want to waste your time and be doing things that don't help you, this workshop will show you exactly how to do that. Okay. Right, that's it from me today. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. All right, have a good one.